Big shout out to Joel Clementine, Joel or Joel, for the follow last night. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so we are up to 53. 53 in our puzzle rush challenge. We are a perfect 53 for 53. We have not missed a puzzle yet. The last one we solved was rated 2769. 2769, okay? So we're at the point now, I mean, we always want to do this, but we're really at the point now where we really need to slow down. We really need to make sure we understand the material imbalance in the position and what's going on. Because we really, really need that information in order to solve these puzzles. We can't just play the first move that looks good to us. Just can't do it. Okay, Rico, what's up, man? Okay. So in this position, we have 6 pawns v 6 pawns. Minors, rooks, and queens cancel out. Okay, so material's even. Couple things I noticed about just first impressions about this position. White has the isolated queen's pawn, which can be a long-term weakness. We notice it's being attacked actually 3 times right now by black's pieces. But it does afford us some decent attacking chances. I like the pressure that white has on the a2 g8 diagonal, especially on f7, especially on e6. So I'm wondering if that's something that we can use to our advantage. Thing we really have to worry about, not only black capturing on d4, but also this potential for a discovered attack. Okay. So, what to do in this position? So I think the first thing I'm going to look at is some sort I think the candidate moves that I'm looking at initially are d5 and some sort of sacrifice on the e6 square. It's a little difficult to follow up these sacrifices though. Like, if we sack on e6 with the bishop, well, I was gonna say we would run into problems with a rook coming to e8, but we always have this bailout move with the queen. Queen h4, threatening this. And then we could always prop that bishop up with d5, perhaps. I definitely think sacrificing with the bishop is the correct move order. Because I just think white would have a better follow-up with the knight landing on that square. I mean, let's just go down that line. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, king, let's say to g8 for argument's sake. I'm not really sure what else we have after that. It doesn't honestly look like much. Man, this is a toughie. This is a toughie. And the other move that really looks good potentially is d5. You know, that's a very thematic move in IQP positions. Very thematic. And I think the most critical line there is for white to probably take. It just makes sense. D5 just makes so much sense because of the way our pieces are coordinated, the fact that this is a weakness. I don't think these sacrifices on E6 are working out just yet. Queen H4 can kind of be refuted by H6. We're just not quite ready for something like that. Alright, I'm gonna play it. Ah, I missed that one. I wish they would just allow you to, It is Queen H4. Okay, the engine's top 3 lines. Queen H4, Bishop takes E6, D5. Okay, we consider all 3 moves, so that's good that we at least got the candidate moves correct. So, Queen H4 I just dismissed because of H6. But in this position, we do have Knight takes, Pawn takes, and then the Rook is crashing through. Okay. Let's say Queen F8. Ooh, if Queen F8, we have this kind of only move in the position, very hard to see. Queen G3. Queen G3. Hitting this rook, hitting here. Okay. So it was kind of a combination of all... Well, not all 3 because we didn't push D5, although D5 is always going to be a potential idea for us in these positions. It was combining Queen H4 with the sacrifice. Okay. That was a toughie. That was a toughie for sure. Alright, we're up to 53. Well, we're still at 53, rather. But we just got our first strike. That puzzle was rated 28-24. In my view, a pretty tough puzzle for that rating. Okay. Material balance. 6 pawns. 6 pawns V5. Minors cancel, rooks cancel, queens cancel out. We're down a pawn in this position. Okay. Hey, Strobix, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good morning to you. Hope all is well in Detroit. So we got big time, this position's kind of all about the dark squares, right? We have potentials for discovered attacks involving this knight. Our dark squares are weak. Yeah, K Rico. So I live in the Washington D.C. area in America. So it's morning. It's 10:46 in the morning here. Strobix is probably an hour behind me, I think. So it's morning here. Where is it where you are? Oh, we're the same time zone. Okay. Oh, it's 10 p.m. where you are. K Rico, where are you joining us from? Asia? Yeah, Asia. Okay, awesome. I didn't realize that. I kind of assumed South America just because K Rico is like, a Spanish term for being like suave and good looking, so I just kind of assumed you were there, but faulty assumption. Awesome, Asia. Thanks for joining us at 10 p.m. If you start getting quiet in the chat, I'll assume that we put you to sleep. Probably a fair assumption. Yeah, we have this potential here, maybe for some sort of discovery to win this rook. I gotta say, in the position like this, where our dark squares are this weak, if we give up our dark square bishop for this rook, our dark squares will just be Swiss cheese. And I think this dark squared bishop would be worth more. Would be worth more than the rook. For sure. What are the other candidate moves? That's not your real name. Oh, okay. Like, for instance, just think about a position where we play knight h5, right? White plays knight takes h5. Just for argument's sake. And we play bishop takes g5. Dark squares are just way, way, way too weak. Is it possible for us, though, to pivot here and try to attack this potentially pinned piece with bishop d6? Maybe. Maybe. Bishop d6, rook d1. I think we take on f4. Take on... Hold on. Take on g3, takes on g3. I'm not actually seeing. I don't think that works. I don't think bishop d6 works because of rook d1. And I can't get that to work. I think it'll actually end up being an even exchange. Well, maybe not even even because we'd be giving up our dark squared bishop. Another really tough problem. Perhaps we could consider playing pawn to e5. That's possible. And maybe then and only then coming to h5. Maybe. Maybe with these knights and the queen on this diagonal, we have enough dark square control. Really, really. Yeah, pawn moves are never right in these positions. I hear you. If I'm just looking, you know, one of the things you should always ask yourself in puzzles, not only in puzzles but in your games, is, you know, what weaknesses did my opponent's last move create? Okay, why is this a tactics puzzle in the first place? It's because of this move, rook g5. So we need to be able to punish that move somehow, and it's just, this seems like the idea to me. No. Ma'am. I think it's kind of, once you get up to this level, it's a really mixed bag. The best move here is queen d2. Okay. I saw queen d2. Oh, hitting this and this. Rook d1. Oh man, that one was easy. No excuses on that to just miss a simple double attack. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, Strobix, you got that one. Wow. Nice job. Yeah, not sure where my head was at on that one. All right, material balance. 4 pawns v6. Minors cancel out rooks and queens. So we are down, excuse me. We're down 2 points of material here. I'm actually seeing a move connected with bishop h2. Okay. Bishop h2, if the king goes in the corner, knight g3 is mate. If the king goes to f1, knight g3 is mate. Okay. That would force knight h2. Knight h2 would be forced. We would then play queen f2 check. The king would go in the corner, and knight g3 would be mate. This is what I'm saying. Like, at this level, the puzzles you get, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's really kind of a mixed bag because oh, I see. We actually have to make one preparatory move here. Okay, that's a little hard. I missed that. We don't want to play knight g3 too quick because the king would have the f2 square. We actually want to sack the queen to trap the white king. Hey, hero. Hey, Notmon hero. Good to see you. Okay, so that was a decent one. We're on 2 strikes though, so this is sudden death, do or die territory here. All right. Material balance. We are down 2 pawns in this position. But, and this is a big but, we have a far safer king than our opponent. Okay. Far safer king. So I think, you know, looking at white's last move, queen a5, we would love to get some sort of initiative going on the a file, I think. So one move that jumps out at me is rook a4. The queen could go to f6. The queen could go to d2. The queen could go to e1 in that position. I think that's a good start, you know, maybe seeking to double on the A file with tempo. I think it has to start there. I really do. You know, if we play something kind of lame like a preparatory move like queen b2 or I don't know, something like that, white's going to start contesting the C file. So this definitely looks like it was some sort of Sicilian, possibly a dragon. You know, I'm just looking at the fact that there's a fianchetto structure here, the bishop's gone, and there's a bishop on d6. We have an open C file. So this definitely could have been taken from a dragon. Alright, I'm going to start here. So queen f6. I was planning on playing rook c8 in this position. I was planning on rook c8. Because before we start doing anything attacking wise, like on the A file, we need to control the C file. We don't want this king to be able... The king can kind of like run Capablanca style to the king side. It'd actually be really safe. So I'm thinking in this position rook c8 is correct. It's correct, and wow, okay. Doesn't make us do much. It just straight sacks the queen. Yeah, that looked like a really promising attack for us. All right, we're up to 55. Yeah, queen. Yeah, not on hero. You were on. You got the idea there. You really need to control the C file though before you bring the queen to the A file. That's kind of the key. That's why we needed to play rook C8 first. All right, what is going on here? So, the knight's on prise, but the knight is nicely preparing the move rook f2. And if king takes h3, queen h5 is mate, okay? So rook f2 would actually force king h1. And then what's the follow-up? What then? That's the big question. Perhaps in that position we just go queen d2 and then just threaten mate on h2. I don't really see how white can stop that. Obviously we got to consider the checks that white would have in that position. Rook f2, king h1, queen d2, threatening rook h2 mate. Does white have some sort of perpetual idea connected with queen a8? Queen a8, king h7, queen e4, I just don't know if you can get away with the move g6. Oh, wow. Wow. I think I see the idea. This is brilliant. Rook f2, king h1, queen d2. Okay, unstoppable mate on h2. Queen e8. We play knight b8. Knight b8. Sacrificing the knight. Queen has to take on b8. And then the queen is no longer on this diagonal. It no longer has the check queen e4. How about that one? How about that one? How about that one? You gotta check those. That line only works because of knight b8, okay? That's why you gotta calculate concretely. That puzzle was rated 3039. That was a tough one though. And I'm glad our calculation's improving to the point, ours being mine, hopefully yours too, but where I'm not just making the move, okay, rook f2, queen d2, and then we'll see what happens. That looks good for white. No. We're pushing ourselves to calculate as concretely as far as possible. That's how we improve our calculation. Okay, it's not just rook f2, queen d2, hope for the best. It's, we knew exactly what was going to happen in that position, and we found the move knight b8. Good one. Really good one. All right. Material balance in the position. 4 pawns, v6. Rooks, knights, and queens cancel out. All right, we are down 2 pawns in this position. We are hurting. Well, we're not, because we know we have a win. It's a tactics puzzle. But what I'm saying is we need to find something very forcing, very concrete. Lickety split. Hey, Callum Bob, what's going on, man? I am chewing gum. My bad. I completely forgot. It's gone now. It's gone. Not Mun Hero and everybody else in the chat. Don't forget the rules. Don't forget our rules, okay? Keep concrete variations to yourself. I don't want help, and a lot of your fellow team MVPers don't want help either. They're trying to solve it, okay? And absolutely under no circumstances are you allowed to use an engine, okay? If I find that you guys are using an engine to give me answers or help you solve the problem, I will kick you out of the stream. You've been warned. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all about improving on this channel, and the engines have no shelter here. I'm actually looking at the move. Like, what's our worst place piece? Right? Where are the weaknesses? So this is like a Yaka Bagard, the 3 questions type thing, right? What's my worst place piece this knight on d7? Where are the weaknesses? I see a weakness here. I see a weakness here. What's my opponent threatening? Well, really in this position, not much besides, well, I shouldn't say not much, but the possibility of maybe pushing h4. Whoops, misfire there. Possibility of pushing h4 or something like that, shutting my h-file play down. Could be a lot. It's more about white consolidating. That's the threat. So I'm really looking at this move, knight f6. It looks interesting. You know, I'm seeing that the king actually has a safe haven on the queen side if things start getting hairy. If rook takes f6, then we crash on h2. If h4 in that position, we have the move knight takes e4. So I'm actually looking at using our worst place piece in the position, this knight, to increase our initiative. The other move to consider is queen d4. Okay, that's possible. Pinning the rook, threatening rook takes h2. But then I think you gotta ask yourself, what happens after pawn to h4? What happens after pawn to h4? Could play rook f6. Okay, building pressure. Then maybe rook f1, rook hf8. And then maybe white can play knight d1 and hold that, and then kind of hold things together with that pin. Queen d4 just also looks a little slow to me. Queen d4 might also just run into the concrete defensive move, queen d2. Defending the rook. And just really liking the look of knight f6. What about queen g7 in that position? Queen g7, king b6. Again, there's the threat of on e4. There's a threat of knight g4. All right. I think I'm gonna play it. I'm sure it was queen d4. All right, I mean, it was a pretty good run. Oh, it was queen d2. Oh, no, sorry. It's just rook h2. Queen d4. queen takes e4. Wow, hard. With the dual threat of rook h1 mate and queen takes b1. You know, I think just going back to this position. First of all, I'm just curious, like, is our move knight f6 just absolutely losing on the spot, or is it playable? It's actually a totally playable move. Actually gives rough equality there. So that wasn't a bad move. It was actually one of the better tries in the position, if you don't see this tactical idea. But by the way, that puzzle was rated 3067. I needed to pay more attention to this rook, okay? Number one, because that was the last piece that moved, and you always have to ask yourself, like, what type of weaknesses did that create my opponent's position? But it's also undefended. So then when we go down this line and we see that queen d4, if the king steps to the side to defend, we're going to have that tactic. Rook f2. This is totally within my ability to calculate. You know, I just didn't pick up on the significance of this rook on b1, unfortunately. But okay. So we ended that rush on 56. I think that may have been... Yeah, that was a real tough one. I think we may have tied our previous score. I'm not exactly sure. All right. Next up, and let me switch everything so that you can see it. I've changed my tune a little bit on Chessable, okay? I think a lot of you guys have been asking about it. And I said it was good, but it can become a little bit too overwhelming, and that it's not fun. There's just too many variations, and you're wasting your time. Well, my guidance on that it was quite dated, okay? This was going back to 2020-ish. You know, I've been a long-time Chessable user. John Bartholomew was my, who founded Chessable. He was my coach even before he founded this. So he let me know about it. I was one of the early adopters of the site and everything. So I've been on it a long time. But they've made a really significant improvement since I've been training. Okay, they had something before called a quick starter guide, where they would synthesize maybe about 1,000 variations down to like 32 key variations to get yourself started. Well, that was a good idea, but it was too little, right? And the real course was too much. Now they have something called priority lines, where you can say study the only priority lines, and it cuts a course of, like, let's say 500 variations down to a more manageable 100. And you're getting enough to have good opening knowledge, but not too much that it becomes too overwhelming, okay? So what I thought I would start doing, because, again, I am contemplating getting back into over-the-board play, so I need to sharpen up my openings. And as many of you guys know, I like to play e5 against e4. I also like to play the Sicilian. If I today were to sit down at a board in a tournament hall and have to play someone of my own strength, I am playing pawn to e5. That's where I feel the most comfortable. So this is the repertoire that I'm going to start drilling. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing the Sicilian, for those of you who are interested in that. It's just that this is my main repertoire. So the first line we're going to look at today, this is a line I already learned, but I actually reset everything so we can do it together. So this position arises after pawn to e4, pawn to e5, pawn to f4, which is the king's gambit, and we're going to meet the king's gambit with pawn to d5. Okay, you've probably seen this a lot in my stream. This is my main response to the king's gambit. Okay. The nice thing about this is that Taking on f4 is the most ambitious, but with pawn to d5, what you're doing is you're affording white absolutely no attacking chances, okay? And that's really what we want. We want to cut across our opponent's plans and not give them the position that they want. So f4, d5. The key thing here is to take for both sides. Okay? And after knight f6, excuse me, not knight f6, knight f3 is actually forced in this position. You can't allow this move queen h4. In some lines in the King's Gambit, in some lines in, I'm thinking of other openings like the Vienna Gambit, there are positions where white can allow the queen to come to h4. The king can step onto like a crazy square like e2 and be totally fine. And it's actually not what black should be going for, but this isn't one of them. So now we're going to study, this is kind of the tabia, and then we'll look at white's main options. So bishop e5 was a move that I faced not too long ago, actually. I think I may have played bishop d7. So in this position, white gets to trade off the weak d5 pawn, but we get to keep on f4. So let's see how that works out exactly. Take. So we gambit the pawn, but we get nice development. And then after pawn to d4, threatening our pawn on f4, we just calmly play bishop d6 and maybe even look to play g5. Materials equal, but keeping the f4 pawn alive restricts white pieces significantly, and black can play a kingside attack of his own after castles h6 and g5. So that's an attack that I've done in the King's Gambit, and it's pretty nasty against white. Even though we're both castling to the same side, because we have this 4-on-2 pawn majority, you can like ram these pawns down white's throat, and it's pretty hard to stop. Okay. So we hold on to the pawn there. All right, so let's see the line in action. f4, d5, takes, knight f3, knight f6, and we're going to meet the move bishop b5 with c6. Knight c6 and bishop d6 holding on to this pawn and going for an attack. Okay, one more time. d5, knight f6, c6, knight c6, bishop d6. All right, let's see the... Oh, okay. So in the priority lines in this course, and I'm not going to tell you what course it is, by the way. I'm also not going to show you more of the course content other than the board, because I think that's starting to infringe on the author's copyright and everything. You know, I'm giving you my assessment of the position. But of course, nobody owns these chess positions, so I think as long as I keep the video, keep the course content out, keep the name of the course, the author, I think we're fine. All right, so we're gonna look at, of course, this is our main move, and then we have the 4 knights. Okay, and then the 4 knights, white has 3 main tries: pawn to d4. Wonder why I can't... I'm just wondering why my arrows aren't working. I guess I can only do that on an analysis board, and maybe after the position's up. Okay. So the 4 knights, we have d4, Scotch 4 knights, bishop c4, Italian 4 knights, bishop b5, the Spanish 4 knights. Okay. So in this position, we're looking at the Scotch 4 knights. This is an opening that we faced yesterday. Okay, and bishop b4 is the move, which I know, pinning. There's a capture. Okay, and then white typically protects his pawn, and then we castle. And then we play d5. Okay. And then this was the move that, you know, I've typically I've typically been playing, instead of bishop g4, I've been playing c takes d5, which is kind of the main line. The problem with that is white plays bishop g5, we play c6, white plays queen f3. Then we're going to have the queens come off the board. I have this damaged structure on the king side, and I absolutely hate playing those positions. Not so much because I'm worse, it's just because they bore me to death. And when I get bored, that's when I typically start making mistakes. Hopefully none of my opponents are listening to this. But bishop g4 is nice because if white plays f3, then that square is no longer available for the queen. Okay. I like this slight sideline. This is nice. So bishop h5. Okay. We lose the pawn in c6, but we can give a nice check. And capture here. And capture on c6. You'll notice in this position that white does have the bishop pair, but we can easily play the move bishop g6 next to trade off white's bishop pair. And this position is totally equal. Totally equal. But what I like about it versus the main line that I have been playing is that my king side structure is intact. If anyone's king is weak, it's white's because of the move f3 and king h1. Okay, there might be back rank stuff, who knows. And I just like that the queens are still on the board. Okay, people who play the Scotch 4 Knights are looking for really, really boring games. Okay, I would imagine psychologically a lot of those players are okay with queen exchanges. In fact, they may even be seeking them. So this really just cuts across all of white's main ideas in the Scotch 4 Knights, and that's why I really, really like it. And we'll just take that. All right, so let's see the line. Knight c6, our main move. Knight f6, main move. We take, we play bishop b4, we capture towards the center, we castle our king, we strike in the center, and then we play, we don't capture on d5, which would be totally fine, but we're going for this line here. We give a check, we take, and we come back. And then we look to exchange off the light scored bishop. No problemo. Back the bishop off, queen d4, takes, and queen c6. Okay. That's a pretty straightforward line. So we're probably going to do this for another 12 minutes or so. You know, I'm really trying to take you guys along on my training regimen, you know, along for the ride. So about 30 minutes of puzzles, 30 minutes of chessable, I'd say is a good balance. And then, you know, for the last hour plus of the stream, we're going to play some 10-minute games and try to learn from them. Okay, Spanish 4 Knights. Yes, this is the best move. The best move in the position is knight e4. And this is the critical line you need to know, okay? If white takes on d4, you take back, you're good to go. This is the critical line, okay? So the critical move here, and I've always been curious, like what happens if white just takes on e5? It's queen e7, okay. Then we take on b5, and we just play d6. So things get sharp, but we're better. Let's see. Things come back. Okay, maybe the king goes to f2. Okay. Ah, then we play this check knight g4. So white's king must either find safety on g1, or you have to adventure into the wilderness. So I think we're looking at king g3. That would be crazy. Whoa. I can't imagine white playing like this. And then we sidestep to the right and g5 is on the way. Wow. What a crazy line. But this is important theory to know, though. Like, you get something like this on the board. Boom. I mean, this you cannot run into this type of prep unprepared over the board as white. You just can't. This looks completely hopeless for a human defendant in a practical game to me. Wow, nice line. And then we can block the check with the queen because pawn takes e5 leads to queen f4 mate. Wow. Sick line. And then we just take the pawn with check. Wow. And then we just look to play bishop e6, castle long, a6 to kick this knight. That's a really cool line. That's a really cool line. Spanish 4 knights is pretty common, actually. It's pretty common. I'm just going to come here to reinforce this knight. All right, let's see if we can remember this line. Knight d4 I know is a critical move. Queen e7, okay. We're going to take on b5. We're going to play d6. We're going to take here. We're going to check the king. And then we're going to come back here. If the knight moves over, we just play queen f6. Right? And then we play pawn to g5. Crucial move. We can then block this check with the knight. Knight e5. Take on f4 with check, and then bring the queen back to e7. Alright, so let's see if we can do this line a little fast. Here. 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 We're going to come here. We're going to play g5. We're going to block this check. We're going to take. We're going to come here and castle. Okay. That's a tricky one. But that's a nice line if you're looking for one for the Spanish 4 knights. Of the 4 knights, in my opinion, that is the, if you're an e5 player, that is the difficult one to meet. Italian 4 knights, Scotch 4 knights, you can get by. This one you really need to know like a nice concrete line, and I think we found one here. Okay, so bishop c4 is the Italian proper. Okay, so we are looking into these lines now. Okay, bishop c5, and we know. So the main move there would be probably d3 going to the Gioca Piano, but we know this line takes, and always d5. This is a typical move. You got to know this. You have to know pawn to d5 in these structures. I don't know how many times I've said this on my YouTube videos and here. I'm like a broken record by now. And then we just drop the bishop back to b6. So yeah, this is a line I'm pretty comfortable with this theory. These are lines that I've been playing. Dropping the bishop back, sure. Oh, that's an interesting one. Bishop a5. I was unfamiliar with this move. So, one thing we really have to be mindful of in this position is like going back here, for instance. You know, you'd love to think about a line where you're taking on f3, maybe undermining d4. We cannot even contemplate playing bishop f3 until the white king is on g1. Okay, we cannot open the g file for our opponent. Okay, so Strobix is an Italian player and usually goes into the Evans instead. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna look at that line. So Strobix, this will be informative to you, because I'm sure we're going to be covering that Italian sideline, possibly even next. But I like this move, bishop a5. Wasn't doing much on b6, and now it pins the knight. But I think what it's trying to do is to provoke the king to go to the king side. Okay, you go queen side here, and then we could take on c3 and open up the king. I don't know about that. So I think this has more to do with provoking the king to the king side. Okay. Capturing doesn't really make much sense. So we could just take there. And just calmly retreat our bishop to g6 and maybe look to play c5 in that position. Okay. But bishop c5, this is going to be... I dabble in the two knights sometimes. Okay, now I can do the arrows. I couldn't do it before. I guess it's when you're in the learn mode you can't. But two main moves here. Knight f6 at 2 knights defense, which does allow knight g5 and all of that stuff. I wouldn't recommend going in for that. And the other move, bishop c5. We play knight f6, we take, and then we always push on with the central advance and a bishop on c4. We drop the bishop back. Okay, we can just castle here. Do this annoying pin, drop back, and then give this annoying pin on a5 to try to force some resolution with the king. Or, in this case, with the bishop. We just come here, and if the knight retreats to put more pressure on e4, we just play bishop g6. We're good to go. All right. So that line, that's a pretty straightforward line. This is why I like playing openings like pawn to e5, the Queen's Gambit, either the Queen's Gambit declined or the semi-Slav, because you're playing classical openings, okay? These moves make sense. Your pieces are on normal good squares. You're fighting for the center, right? It jives with opening principles. You're not fighting against them and having to find weird only moves and positions just to justify your position. Okay, our knight's got to come here. The bishop drops back. We can castle. We can play bishop g4 and drop back after h3. And then we want to play bishop a5. Okay, takes. And then drop the bishop back to g6. All right. So I think we're going to stop there because this opening, our course, how did that come about? Oh, yeah. That was our third move, right? This repertoire is going to be based around meeting the Spanish with the Berlin, which is definitely what I want to do. There's no doubt in my mind that this is my tournament opening. If I do decide to go back to get me to master, for a lot of reasons which we can discuss later. But I think it's probably best for us to move into our live play now rather than going for this, because this line might start getting a little bit dense and I don't want to run short of time. All right, so let me flip over to the live play. Overlay. Bagels will be happy with how I'm handling this today. I'm not screwing up my my scene transitions. Nice. Okay. You're probably looking at yourself saying, Tom, WTF to your rapid rating. It's 2053 right now. When we left yesterday, it was like 2090 something. Well, sometimes I do this. I ended up playing on my phone last night while watching TV, while half asleep, and I just lost a lot of games. Okay? It's not the end of the world. I don't regret doing it. It's not like, oh, I should have never done that. I was having fun while I was doing it. It was relaxing. I played a couple interesting games, but, you know, just lost the thread or made a blunder or whatever, but it happens. It's not a big deal, okay? Try not to worry about your rating too much. Okay, let's jump in here. So, because of that, the real reason I teed that up is we'll see how chess.com, I almost said chess.com, chess.com pairs us today. We might end up getting paired a little bit down, but we'll see. And of course, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody in the chat. Thanks so much for joining us. It's really great to have you here. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit, well, I don't even know if it's anywhere. just be sure to follow. I'm pointing up to our activity tracker and also to our goals. We're really trying to get up to 1,000. So every little bit helps. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to follow. Looks like we lost a follower. We're at 120 now. Okay. All right, let's get in there. All right, Chairman Sabi Angelo. Good luck to you, dude. All right, we got a King's Indian. Don't fall for E5 here, okay? Fisher proved how to punish that. We'll come here. Play Bishop E3. See what our opponent plays. So this is known as the Gligorich system. Okay, he decides to take. We defend. So I would say, for you King's Indian players, this is the best setup, I think. But my opponent has misplayed this. You actually want to play a quick c6, d5. That's the idea. Putting the knight on c6 is actually incorrect. So I've got my kind of choice of plans here. I'm probably looking to castle to the queen side. So let's do that. Especially, I was kind of 50-50 on it, but once my opponent played knight d7 and took a defender away from the h5 square, that's just like, he's waving the red flag at me, okay? I'm a bull. He just waved the red flag at me, and now I'm going to come and try to do nasty things to him. h4, h5 on the way. See how our opponent responds. Let's see if he even plays knight f6. The one thing that black has going for them, just in terms of this attacking position for me, is I just have to work a little harder to get the move bishop h6 in to trade off the bishops. He's also moved this rook so he could even contemplate keeping the bishop on the board. Wow, he's really going for it, huh? I mean, I've got e5, e4 pretty much locked down though. There's no f4 advance that I can see. Oh, f4 would undermine the knight. So I actually think I do have to take on c6 here. I'm just looking at the move pawn h5, f4. I don't want to have to play bishop f2 there, because that just locks things down. So let's come here so that we can just play the move we want to, h5, with not having to worry about pawn f4, because we can just take it now. Our knight won't be hanging. All of our attacking ideas are in play. A capture on e4, we could even contemplate. I would probably just take back with the pawn. Okay. So, I think it makes sense to open the H file, right? Let's open the H file. I can't see him inserting any intermezzo type move because, oops, we have one of our own. Pawn takes h7. Oh, I forgot to share the stream. Got to share the stream. Let's make sure I do that. Wow, he did! That's crazy. Is he just planning on using this pawn as a... I don't know, man. You know, you're banking on me... You're banking on me taking on e4. Could I just push? Could also take a bunch of times and just play bishop d4. Hope I didn't just get myself into trouble here. I failed to recognize that the bishop on e2 is going to be hanging in this line. Yikes. I don't have the move. Uh-oh. Think I'm in trouble here. I don't even have a move like bishop h5, queen takes e3, bishop takes e8. He would just play queen takes e8. I think in this position... Wonder if bishop f3 works. Perhaps. Maybe queen c4 is best in this position. It's possible. Queen c4. I mean, I'm already up a pawn. I mean, that's one thing to remember. So, you know, we've got good chances here. Yeah, I just want to put this put the stream on the black hole known as Twitter or X. You never know. Even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while, as they say. All right, so maybe a slight problem here. Okay, my plan in this position was just to take hitting both rooks. Okay, he made the best move. Do I have to get the queens off now? I'm just worried about playing a move like b3 and how to respond to a move like queen e5. That just looks so bad. I'm wondering if I could take on e8. If rook takes, I take with my queen. No, I think I would have insufficient compensation there. Another move that looks potentially attractive now that I just noticed it is maybe rook e1. I just don't think I can take on e8 and allow bishop takes b2 check. Alright, we gotta take. In my opinion. Probably should have made that decision. Made that decision a little quicker than that. But we've definitely got compensation. Like, this is not over. I just wish I didn't waste so much time there. You know, this pawn is a pain in the ass to deal with. Just restricts the king. And I've got two pawns, you know. Could be looking, you know, at a drawn endgame, maybe. Even if I lose on time, you know, I think if we can get this to a point where we have kind of a theoretical draw on the board, that would be great. Alright, I think we got to oppose here. Oh no, bishop h6! I totally missed it! Bishop h6 pinning my rook. How did I miss that? Oh my god, I can't believe I missed bishop h6. Oh man, Chairman, he's a good... Sabi's a good player, he's gonna find it. Alright, red herring. Let's see. I don't want to... Man, that's a good move. Didn't appreciate how good that move was until he made it. I need to give my king some breathing room, I think. Maybe try to activate our rook. Yeah, I'm just cooked on the clock. Cooked on the clock. Cooked on the clock. Yeah, but my opponent, you know, clearly knew what he was doing in this line. I'm not sure about this move knight c6. It could end up being, maybe it's like the main move nowadays. I just always thought that c6 d5 was best. But normally when things go wrong in this opening for white, there is some sort of weakness on the e file from having played f3. Okay, because you got a lot of your pieces. Your bishop's on e3. Often your light square bishop ends on e2. The e file can be a problem. Alright, good move by my opponent there. I'm wondering here if we can perhaps look to activate our king. That's kind of an odd move. Try to undermine this bishop if we can. I think the bishop's got to come maybe back to b6. Okay, comes to c5. Take this opportunity maybe to drop our bishop back. Don't really know what else to do. Maybe I got a plan like that. That's kind of a one move threat though. Maybe rook e5 is best in this position. Rook e5 perhaps. So this hits this and potentially this. Okay, he plays rook e5 there. Maybe hit the bishop. Put this bishop here. I think we're probably okay in this ending, you know, besides for the obviously decisive clock advantage that he has, but it's really hard to do anything in this position. I mean, I've got some, like, fantasy of Oh, jeez. I completely missed that. That's not the worst thing in the world. Ah. Ah, nice check. Yeah, he got me on the clock. Well, and on the board. I'm not going to say that he flagged me. Yo, Limitado, what's up, man? So we had a good position, it looks like, based on the eval graph. So that was a miss. It did not like knight takes c. Maybe I can play bishop g5 here? No. Oh, come in with the queen. Yeah. Yeah. And that would force the queen to d8 off the file. And then I can just take here. And we're good to go. Oh, wow. Oh, of course. That's a nice move. That's a really nice move. So, if queen takes in this position, we have bishop takes, king takes. Let's say we get a position like this, just highlighting black's lack of development. But I guess the key variation is what happens if bishop takes. Queen takes here. We just have checkmate in one. Bishop h6 was a saving move. Not just saving, it was a winning move that I missed. Yeah, oh, that's... Oh, man, that's a shame. That's a shame I missed that. And then there's not really much else to review here. I'm just dead lost. Dead lost. It was a pretty even game, though. Alright. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I went back to my profile. I almost did it again. Yo, Drapsy, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, bro. Alright, let's get back in there. Alright, we're playing e5. Is it girthy? I don't know what that means. Let's play a6 for now. Drapsy, do we need to kick you out? Is that potty talk? Yeah, just give me a second and I can kick our new friend out. Let's go bishop g4. Oh, got another follow. I am FR washed. All right. Back to the real deal at hand here. Okay. We'll keep this pin. Makes it a little harder to achieve d4. So this is kind of an atypical Spanish structure. It's not what you normally get, and white just ceded us control over the A file. Let's see if we can do something with this. I really like the look of this advance. Really want to get control over the a5, but I don't want our queen to get trapped. All right, so we got the A file. Nice strategic asset. Where to come, though? Where to move? This looks potentially annoying. Knight g3, we'll just play... Thanks for the hydrate, dude. 5 bits to get Drapsy. Yeah, you gotta give me a second, man. Alright, Drapsy's banned. Drapsy is no more. Ooh, let's... Can we play this cramping move? Is this good? Is this good for us? Monkey see, monkey do points. That's what I call them. Ooh. Alright, bro. Chill with the hydrates. I appreciate it, but chill. Yeah, I just think that would be a long-term weakness. Alright, let's take. Let's take and... If you do that one more time, I'm gonna kick you out too, okay? You've been warned. He's gone. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, going after the dark squared, the light squared bishop. Okay. I feel like we got a good position. I just don't know what to do. It's really hard just finding a move. I'm just gonna come here. Like, let's get a little more... a little more control over the dark squares. If knight f5, you can just drop the bishop back. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that if I were him. Now this knight's got nowhere to go. It's a tough position for both of us. It's like, it's just hard to make a move. Really hard. This is what you get into with the Spanish sometimes. Knight takes. Yeah, but then you got rook takes e4. Let's just tickle this. I just don't want this rook to get trapped. His bishops are starting to swarm. They're starting to get a little swarmy. Alright, let's just come here. I can actually see this ending in a perpetual. Queen d2, rook a2, queen d1, rook a1. I just don't. I just don't have an active plan in the position other than this annoying rook. And neither does he, really. Now he can't really afford to bring this bishop out and try to like play bishop b3 or something, because then I got maybe something like that. Maybe. Guess he has rook c1 in that position, but I would be able to win this pawn at least. Oh, okay. Yeah, I never contemplated people using channel points as a way to spam our stream. That's a new one for us. I'm sure you guys are like, yeah, people do it all the time. You old dude. Yeah, I'm gonna offer this dude a draw. Okay, looks like he doesn't want it. Interesting. Alright, now I've got maybe something to bite on here. I mean, I hope my opponent... well, I mean, I do hope. I hope his idea isn't to play bishop takes c6. I hope that's why he didn't play on. To play that rotten position. Oh, man. Oops. Wrong piece. Thank you. He just lost his Spanish bishop. That is a big time problem. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's like, it's a big time problem. Any Spanish player knows that. It's like, you just can't do that. You may as well just play the exchange variation or something. Alright, we'll come here. There's no discoveries or anything, so we can always just chop off this bishop. But now we're looking to maybe play this next. Okay. Do we take or do we play queen a5? Queen a4. Probably take. And let's get our queen. A little more active. I would invite this capture just so that we can get the knight out of the way of the c pawn. You know, because it's kind of the route into the... C4 could be nice for the knight. Really nice. Activate our bishop. I think we're slightly better here. Improve the king. Knight's got an excellent square. His pieces are really restricted. Time edge is good. Next plan, activate the king. I like our king activity. Nice time edge. This will win us a little time. Just come back. I just think maybe the knight would be slightly better here. Somehow, I leaned at that out, said somehow you got a decent position. Yeah, my opponent, you know, my opponent should have taken a draw. It's pretty much as simple as that. Don't really know what to do here. I let some of my time advantage slip, which really stinks. Come here. Didn't want to come the other way because I would have walked straight into a 4 potentially. completely blew his position. Alright, looks like we're gonna get this pawn back. Oh, there we go. Tricky endgame, but one that we can hold. Ugh. Good game to my opponent. Really good game. We should have just agreed to a draw like a long time ago. Alright, looks like we missed an absolute knockout blow. Our opponent was also clearly winning. I just did not know what the heck to do here. Alright, so I guess this does work. Rook takes. Oh yeah, we just have bishop takes. Ah, alright. Missed that opportunity. Nor the opportunity to win a pawn. So queen a4 was best. Okay, not exactly sure why. This caused trouble for me. Really? I thought that was actually a pretty nice move for us. Okay. Is it just improving the bishop? Okay, coming here, threatening this pawn. Okay. I mean, we're doing just fine. This is a stone cold draw. So where did I go? I went horribly wrong somewhere. So I boxed my king in. I ended up boxing in my king. So I actually think I need to come maybe here? That's kind of weird to give up the bishop like that, but it's best. Trade equal pieces. So maybe coming here. Oh, of course. That would have been a nice consolidating move. And that's a stone cold draw, perhaps. Alright, that got us back in the game. This is fine. Oops, you gave up a pawn. Yeah, just taking here. I mean, oh my god, I'm winning. Oh my god, I'm winning that position. It takes, it's just our king activity. Oh man. It's really hard. That's really hard when you've had such a drawish game and then you know you're worse and you battle back. You're just kind of, you're in a drawish mindset. How can I equalize this game? Yada yada yada, and sometimes you miss winning moves like that. I was really low on time. Now it's 36 seconds. Yeah, and then I just compounded it with that move. Probably come here. And if this, well, then I just got king d5. And I could even look to shoulder the king away. This actually might be winning for me. Holy smokes, it is. That's interesting. That's really interesting. But we managed to get the draw. See, he should have taken, like, no, not even taken. He should have come here. Yeah, that gets it done. Best move. All right, that was a good one. Let me just take a quick stretch break. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. What I want to know is that guy that we ended up banning for those hydrate redemptions, how did he get so many channel points so quickly? I guess he had checked out the king the stream before and it accumulated them. That was a little odd. Lagging a little bit here. Sorry about that. Did chess.com go down? No, it didn't. Okay. Alright, let's get in this 10-minute pool. Alright, good luck to Klops. Oh, Klops and I, we're old buddies. We've played 2 games together. Just gonna invite him to join us on the stream afterwards. I'm not saying that to everybody, but this is a premium account who we've played before, who's proven to be a real player. Bogo Indian, okay. This, in my opinion, is the worst. I mean, okay, maybe you can come up with worse ones, but one of the worst accompanying openings to the Nimzo Indian. Ooh, did my opponent just allow me to play e4? Should have played bishop b7 there. That was a big time miss. It's just really, it's life's hard as a Nimzo player because if you don't like the Queen's Gambit Decline. If you like the Queen's Gambit Decline, you're good to go. But I feel sorry for all these people who don't play that opening and try to slog through, you know, this queenside fianchetto crap. I just never liked it. Alright, before we want to address our central pawns and even contemplate a move like d5, I want to see where this knight's going. This knight on b8. All right, let's just... So he looks like he's preparing... Preparing the advance e5. Seems like that's what my opponent's plan is. Okay, there it is. Let's take the space. And I think in this position we'll look to play rook c1. I was going to say b4 and then c5. Okay, our opponent's trying to put a stop to that. Doesn't really prevent us from playing it though, so let's just go ahead and play it now. See if he'll take on a1 or keep the tension. Okay, looks like our opponent is hoping to play the move. Well, f5 doesn't quite work. Of course, he does have knight f4. All right, let's put... Yeah, this knight's not doing much to facilitate our c5 break, so might be best to actually move it out of the way, play queen c2, and then look for this advance. Don't have to worry about knight f4 though. We can just take that off. I don't really know what the knight's doing there. Black is not ready to play pawn f5. Looks like he might have to play, you know, a move like g6 to try to get that in, but ugh. Plays h6. That looks rather weakening. This quick monkey stretch in. Woohoo. My wife knows, Bagels knows how much I need to stretch. Okay, well that takes a defender away from this square, so our advance isn't quite working yet though. Maybe I want to let's bring this knight here and maybe look to play our knight into f5. If our opponent takes, then the f4 square is kind of shut down. All right. Guess we'll just drop the bishop back. Looks reasonable. So we got kind of like a Ruy Lopez type position when you look at it. You know, got the space advance d4 in. He just played g6. He doesn't have a dark squared bishop though. This looks very much like a Ruy Lopez. That's interesting. All right, I need some firepower over on the queen side to get this advance through. And I think the piece I need is this knight. This knight over on b3 to get c5 in. opponent's doing a good job just maintaining the tension with the rooks. I think that's good. I'll just come here. Do we have to worry about this advance? I don't know. I'm gonna say no. Of course, I'm usually wrong about stuff like this. But it does look like our opponent's trying to attack us on the king side, but... easier said than done with this rook tension. I've also got c5 on the way. Let's see how he decides to play it. He's definitely made some weaknesses on his king side, but I'm not in a great position to really attack or exploit them right now. I'm really just kind of geared up for c5, which is a really good move. I mean, I'm excited to be able to play that. Alright, it looks like I got... okay, let's take a look at this. If h5, h4 rather, knight h2, we got g2 covered, but our opponent would have knight h3. So I'm gonna take one move here to step to the side. Step to the side. Just prophylaxis against h4 in that position. Because if I play my knight to e2, then on knight h3 check king h1, the f2 pawn would actually be hanging there. So that's why I played the move king h1. Let's see if it's good or not. I mean, I don't love the fact that my king's on the h-file, obviously. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have let his knight just walk right into f4 like that. Now that move, I do not understand that move at all. All right, c5's in. All right. Now this looks like a King's Indian. Really interesting. Let's take... and I think if I exchange, and play... rook a1, he trades. Best move, rook a1. Oh, hey, buddy. Chester Cat wants to come in, of course. I will be right back. Hey, bud. You're late. Chester, you're late. Okay, that was a red herring. My opponent found that move. Congratulations. Let's just bring the rook in. This looks good. Here you go, bud. Cool, Strobix. Good luck with your certification test. I'm sure you'll do well. Alright, I think we got a pretty good position here. Clap's a very good player. Oh, okay, yeah, that's the kind of moves we want to see. Let's just really jam up this file so his queen can't get active. Alright, where to go with this knight? Bring it over here. Just give a little defense in case he decides to play h4. I like this move rook c7. It's like, just restricts his queen. Alright, now I think we can just play that move. Now that there's no queen on g5, so there's no like funny business we really have to worry about, I don't think. Hey, Kallenbaum. They're going, it's going okay. It's going okay. Do we take this opportunity now to try to trade off our opponent's best piece? Actually, that doesn't quite work, does it? Alright, let's come... Let's go here. Gotta stay up on... Kallenbaum, matches are, you can redeem your channel points. You'll see